Dear colleagues, we are welcoming you once more at the second session of the 43rd session of the World Heritage Committee. Thank you for participation at the opening ceremony yesterday. We hope that you got some impression of the cultural heritage of Azerbaijan and our view for the future. We are very pleased and honored to have all of you here, to have the honor to host this important international event, and we hope for very active, very resultful cooperation between all the committee members and representatives of other state parties and NGOs and international organizations to proceed for achievement of the results we're expecting from this session. We would like to note that we have very tough agenda. That's why we have to follow strict timetable. You all are aware about that. So please follow the time limits for your interventions, speeches, and according to the rules of procedure, we will try to give possibility to all interested parties to make interventions and notes. So, not to take your time too long, I would like to proceed to the agenda and start with the item 2 of the documents, WHAC 19-43.com-2, request for observer status. Ladies and gentlemen, before considering the admission of observers, I would like to give the floor to Mrs. Rössler for some general announcements. Please.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair, and good morning to all of you. Please allow me to recall that the committee, at its 35th session, decided that World Heritage Committee meetings should be live-streamed over the web. Therefore, the debates of our session will be live-streamed through the address which appears on the screens now. Does it appear? Yes, it does. Which is also available on the website of the 43rd session. Secondly, please allow me to indicate that UNESCO gratefully acknowledges the host country for providing interpretation in Azeri throughout the session. Please note also that thanks to the generosity of the Kingdom of Spain, Spanish interpretation will be available for the duration of the entire meeting. Furthermore, thanks to the authorities of China, interpretation in Chinese will be available from the 5th to the 7th of July. In this regard, I would like to invite the Azeri, Spanish and Chinese language speakers to choose in which working language, English or French, they would like to see their interventions being reflected in the summary records of the session. So your choice should be indicated orally at the time of your first intervention. It should also be transmitted in writing to the Secretariat before the end of our working session this morning. Thank you very much, Mr. Chair.
Thank you very much, Madam Rössler. So we now turn our attention to the admission of the observers. The list is presented in document 2 in accordance with the Article 8 of the Rules of Procedure. For your information, this is bilingual document in English and in French. I would like to ask the rapporteur if she has received any amendments to the draft decision proposed.
Thank you, Chair. We've received no amendments for this one.
No amendments? Thank you. Dear colleagues, I have now to ask if you agree to the presence of these observers throughout the session. Committee members, no objections, I hope? I see no objections. The participation of observers is agreed. Thank you. Now we move to the item 3 of our agenda. Adoption of the agenda and the timetable. Documents WHC-19-43.com-3A. Provisional agenda of the 43rd session of the World Heritage Committee. I would like to invite Mrs. Rossler to present the agenda and the timetable for the session as contained in documents 3A and 3B. These documents should be read in conjunction with the document information.3A.rev5, which contains the provisional list of the documents of our session. All members of the committee got it. The other participants can easily find it through the site of the event. Please, Mrs. Rossler, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. Concerning the agenda of our session, please allow me to indicate that 2 additions have been made in comparison with the original agenda approved by the World Heritage Committee at its last session. 1 item on progress report on the reflection on processes for mixed nominations, and 1 on the revisions of the operational guidelines. Now, regarding document 3B, which contains the timetable, please note that as the Bureau was informed yesterday, the Baku Declaration will be presented before the end of our morning session. The text of this declaration has been distributed to you both in English and in French. Please also note that the message from the World Heritage Young Professionals Forum 2019 will be presented to you immediately before lunchtime. It is suggested to the committee to take note of this message, and a copy of this message has also been made available to all of you in English and French this morning. Furthermore, Mr. Chair, please allow me to inform you that a revised list of documents, Rev 5, was made available on 29th June, so please refer to this document for any information on the documents of this session. Ladies and gentlemen, allow me also to recall that due to the number of items on our agenda and the time constraints, Rule 22.2 of the Rules of Procedures, which grants the chairperson with the possibility to limit the time allowed to each speaker, will be applied if circumstances make this desirable. Time for interventions, therefore, will be limited to 3 minutes for committee members and 2 minutes for observers. In this regard, please note that a musical timer system to gauge interventions is in place, which interrupts any speaker exceeding the recommended time limit. And Mr. Chair, it's in front of you.
Yes,
you see it? Concerning the interventions by observers from civil society and NGOs, we strongly advise, if they wish to take the floor on the same topic, to hold consultations among them in order to prepare and deliver one single intervention. In order to save time as much as possible, we also appeal to you not to repeat what the other delegations have said or for making congratulatory statements. Official statements and declarations should be also transmitted to the Secretariat in writing as soon as they have been delivered in order to integrate them into the summary records of this session. Furthermore, please note that timing of sessions will be strictly respected, which means every morning at 10 a.m. and every afternoon at 3 p.m. sharp. Please also note that in the timetable you have in front of you, and which was just looked at, the meeting of the Bureau will be held every morning from 9:30 to 10 a.m. as of tomorrow, Tuesday, 2nd of July. Dear participants, allow me also to remind you that bilateral consultations outside the main conference room should be outside of the main conference room and not during the debates here in the room. This was specifically requested by several committee members. Furthermore, I would like to underline a specific point regarding nominations. As you can see, we will have a very tight schedule regarding nominations. While we understand perfectly and share the joy of countries that will have inscriptions of their sites on the World Heritage List, we discussed yesterday in the Bureau meeting that we would recommend that congratulations and celebrations be held outside of the room to allow for a smooth continuation of our schedule, and also in fairness to the nominations being discussed just afterwards. I would also like to ask you to switch off your mobile phones or to put them in silent mode so as not to disturb the proceedings. Please note that no specific coffee breaks were foreseen. However, tea and coffee will be available throughout the day in the delegates' lounge. Last but not least, as it was indicated in the Bureau meeting yesterday, I also would like to remind all committee members that all amendments to draft decisions have to be submitted well in advance before the discussion to our rapporteur, Mrs. Mahani Taylor, who is sitting here on the podium, in writing, using the blue form and preferably in an electronic version at the following email address. I hope it comes up. Oh yes, it's on the screen. The blue form template to be used will be sent to all committee members by email through the Secretariat. In this regard, we will consult each committee member delegation to get email addresses to which the electronic version of the blue form can be sent for easy use. The electronic submission will facilitate the integration of the text in the relevant draft decisions at hand for your consideration. The blue form is also available in the room in both English and French. It includes the email address I just mentioned. I would like to encourage you as much as possible to avoid to submit substantial amendments immediately before the discussion of an item to allow for transparent and informed discussions. Therefore, committee members should ensure that amendments are provided sufficiently in advance and at least 24 hours ahead of the examination of the concerned item, as provided in the rules of procedure, to allow for their timely dissemination both in paper copy and online on the website of the World Heritage Center, and to ensure their translation. This is very important to ensure the dialogue and transparency here. Thank you very much, Mr. Chair.
More than 1,000 and illegal fields, more than 3,000 hectares in the surrounding area of the property, and stopping the opening of new illegal ones. And also implementing alternatives to the transfer of water, as transfer is not a viable solution. It would only contribute to increasing the irrigated area. Transfer would not be necessary if legislation is implemented and illegal wells and fields are closed. Moreover, the new regional government is making promises in favor of intensive agriculture by offering to modify the vital spatial planning tool that regulates the use of water that is called Plan de la Corona Norte de Doñana. WWF is very concerned and warns the committee for the future and upcoming threats to Doñana. This autumn, Doñana will celebrate its 50th anniversary and thus deserve far greater protection from the State Party of Spain, pushing to promote a sustainable socioeconomic model for the territory, and that UNESCO remains vigilant and gathers information from all stakeholders. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We can proceed to the next item to be concerned. This is number 8B32. Connect with the monuments of ancient Pskov from Russian Federation. May I ask Mr. Balsamo for comment?
Thank you, Chair. We received the fatal error notification concerning the evaluation of the monuments of ancient Pskov, and this notification has also impacts on the proposed statement of OUV of the site. And this to be found on page 121 of the English version of document before, and on page 67 of the French version of the same document. Thank you.
May I ask ICOMOS to present the file?
Thank you, Mr. Chairperson. The monuments of ancient Pskov are located in the historic city of Pskov in the northwest of Russia. The originally nominated property included 18 serial components composed of 2 fortifications, 1 bell tower, 2 monasteries, 3 cathedrals, 11 churches, and 3 administrative chambers. 17 components are located in the historic center of the city of Pskov, while the ensemble of Snetogorski Monastery is situated to the northwest on the right banks of Velikaya River. The 2 examples of fortification architecture are the 15th century Pokroskovia Tower, previously an integral component of a larger fortress, and the 16th century Kremyatskaya Tower, which is part of the previously extensive fortification walls on Kremyatskaya Hill. However, both of these, in ICOMOS' view, did not make a relevant contribution to the outstanding universal value of the property. 2 complexes of administrative chambers were also included, one in the Pskov Kremlin and the Pogankin chambers within the outer part of the historic center, both dating to the 17th century, and likewise these were not seen as making a significant contribution to the property's OUV. Exceptional among the Pskov monuments, however, are the churches, both individually and at times in monastic structures, which illustrate the architectural mastery as well as decorative ornaments produced by the Pskov School of Architecture. The Pskov School developed from the earlier Novgorod School and was formally established as an independent school in the 14th century. It became most influential in the 16th and 17th centuries after Pskov entered the Russian state. The school is known for its architectural works which illustrate simplicity in form, similarity amongst a range of built monuments, often featuring asymmetries, integration of their natural setting, and organic architectural forms. The mastery of the school's output is transmitted in these religious structures, which are characterized by added spaces such as side chapels, vestries, narthexes, porches, galleries, and belfries. And these churches are the best preserved testimony of the school's output. Out of the initially proposed 14 churches and cathedrals, ICOMOS considers that 10 meet the high benchmarks of outstanding universal value. These 10 selected churches and cathedrals maintained their immediate property setting in the form of access routes, gardens, fences, as well as vegetation, which contribute to the traditional atmosphere of these spiritual abbots and integrate their natural surrounding with continued religious use. ICOMOS considers that these 10 component sites of the serial nomination meet criterion 2 and the conditions of integrity and authenticity. ICOMOS further considers that the boundaries should be revised in line with the reduced component selection and that monitoring indicators and the visitor management strategy could be strengthened. ICOMOS hence recommends the inscription of a reduced series of 10 churches and cathedrals as indicated in the draft decision under criterion 2. The additional recommendations address the before-mentioned issues and are included in your draft decision. Thank you very much, Mr. Chairperson.
Thank you, ICOMOS, for presentation. Azerbaijan wanted the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We thank the ICOMOS for its report. The Pskov is one of the best representation of Russian history, of its statehoodness and the Orthodox Church. And we are very surprised that it is the first time that it is inscribed, so it's not inscribed for a long period of time before. For us, this Pskov is one of the best examples of the School of Architecture, which is recognized as one of the most artistic and original in Russian Federation and even beyond, as it inspired a lot of artists across Russia and beyond to develop the architectural skills. In that sense, we believe that this site has an exceptional value for all humanity. Integrity and authenticity are met. Conservation measures, protection and management are intact with the ICOMOS requirements. And what is left is just to congratulate the State Party and ICOMOS for this exemplary work and congratulate for the inscription of this site. Thank you.
Thank you very much. China, please.
Thank you, Chair. China congratulates the monuments or congratulates the State Party of Russia for the monuments of ancient Pskov to be included onto the World Heritage List, and appreciates the Russian government for adding to the World Heritage List a masterwork of an important architectural school that has had wide influence. China also appreciates the professional evaluation opinion given by ICOMOS, and we concur with the point made by Azerbaijan, and we really want to congratulate Russia again. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Norway, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Norway welcomes this site to the World Heritage List. Pskov is not only one of Russia's oldest and most interesting cities, it's the home of one of the world's most important schools of architecture. The school and the religious buildings in Pskov are so beautiful in the way that they are of such a refined and clarified form. These buildings express a kind of purity and spirituality that harmonize so well with their surroundings. No wonder that the Pskov School of Architecture has had such a great influence in Russia. Congratulations, Russia. Norvegia, Pozdravit, Rasio, with the churches of the Pskov School of Architecture. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you very much. Brazil, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The Brazilian delegation would like to congratulate the Russian Federation for this very important nomination, which features a cradle of Russia culture. We understand that this nomination, for its geopolitical and historic significance, reflects the essence of Russia's civilization and deserves rightful recognition as a World Heritage Site. We commend the Russian Federation for the consistent work carried out by experts for more than 1 decade that resulted in this very successful accomplishment. Thank you very much, Mr. Chairperson.
Thank you very much. Zimbabwe, please.
Thank you, Chair. Zimbabwe delegation would like to thank ICOMOS for the extensive review of the nomination presented by the State Party of Russia. We also commend the State Party for the excellent nomination, which recognizes that there are different architectural traditions in the world. These architectural traditions are represented in different styles and decorative elements produced by the School of Architecture between the 12th and 17th centuries. Zimbabwe supports the recommendation of the advisory body to nominate the property on the World Heritage List. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much. Hungary, please.
Thank you very much, Chair. Hungary congratulates the State Party for this excellent nomination, and first of all, because this place, this property is really a very important both in historical as in art historic and architectural respect. It was emphasized also in the evaluation of ICOMOS. Thank you for this evaluation, and Hungary supports fully the inscribing this property onto the World Heritage List.
Thank you very much. Kyrgyzstan, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. We join to the congratulations on the inscription of monuments of ancient Pskov on the list of World Heritage. And we also noted that there was extensive information exchange between ICOMOS and the State Party in order to get all the information and to evaluate this file. We thank again.
Thank you very much. Spain.
Muchas gracias, señor presidente. Queremos felicitar sinceramente a la Federación Rusa por esta propuesta que nos trae, que en la línea que siempre valoramos de ejemplos que irradian después una realidad que se extiende. Quiero decir, esta escuela de arquitectura que se ciña a una arquitectura religiosa, pero que siendo un germen que ha polinizado posteriormente todo un desarrollo arquitectónico en toda la zona eslava. Por tanto, es importante que en tiempos en que olvidamos los orígenes de algunos sitios y los orígenes de algunas culturas, alguien traiga una candidatura que hace aflorar y que explica el porqué de todo un desarrollo arquitectónico religioso en toda una zona del mundo, que es ese es el germen, y luego se produce una polinización arquitectónica en el sistema religioso que nos trae una bella realidad para ofrecer en este momento como patrimonio a todo el mundo. Así es que gracias, ICOMOS, por el informe que nos trae, y gracias a la Federación Rusa por tener el detalle y el trabajo de ofrecernos esta ilustración para que todo el mundo conozca cómo se desarrolló ese tipo de arquitectura.
Thank you very much. Bosnia.
We like to congratulate, because this architecture can be inspiration to contemporary architects to learn something after 5 centuries of work. Thank you.
Thank you very much. May I ask honorable members of the committee, are there any other opinions or objections to the draft proposed by ICOMOS? I don't see any. Do we have any additions, Rapporteur?
No amendments, Mr. Chair.
So there are no amendments. Therefore, I would like to declare the decision 43.8b.32 adopted as amended. Мы поздравляем от имени членов Комитета делегацию Российской Федерации с включением этой номинации в список всемирного наследия ЮНЕСКО. Our congratulations to Russian Federation. The floor is yours, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. First of all, I would like to express our deep gratitude to ICOMOS and the World Heritage Center and all members of the committee for the inscription nomination to the World Heritage List. The city of Pskov, with its richest heritage, is very dear to our hearts. It is one of those ancient Russian cities which constitute the cradle of our culture and civilization. But it is also a part of European history and culture. It should have been on the list of World Heritage long ago, and we are happy that this long-awaited moment of inscription has finally arrived. Mr. Chairman, with your permission, Madam Emelianova, first Vice Governor of the region of Pskov, would like to say some words.
Уважаемые члены Комитета Всемирного наследия ЮНЕСКО, благодарим вас за поддержку номинации «Храмы Псковской архитектурной школы». Это высокая честь для нас. Благодарим ИКОМОС за проведенную работу по оценке псковской номинации. Благодарим солнечный Азербайджан за оказанное теплое гостеприимство. Это взаимообогащающее, созидательное партнерство. Памятники псковской церковной архитектуры отвечают духу русской национальной культуры. Они изысканно просты и сдержаны, лаконичны и естественны, живописны, асимметричны, несут в себе огромную эмоциональную силу, глубину и искренность. Псковское церковное зодчество оказало влияние на развитие архитектуры как в России, так и за ее пределами, являясь в XIX-XX веках источником вдохновения для архитекторов от бразильского Рио-де-Жанейро до итальянского Бари. Мы полностью осознаем ответственность, которую налагает на нас включение псковских памятников в список всемирного наследия ЮНЕСКО и сделаем все возможное, чтобы обеспечить выполнение решений Комитета Всемирного наследия ЮНЕСКО и сохранение архитектурных шедевров Пскова для передачи и грядущим поколениям во имя высоких нравственных ценностей и сохранения всего культурного многообразия мира. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.